Hey, what's up and hello? This is the Chris Nicole bringing you my views on life, love, and the world of entertainment through my eyes. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on what time you are watching this live. Hello, crew. Hope all is well. Make sure you hit the like button on the way in. My apologies. There has been some type of delay or glitch in the system. So I am hoping you can hear me. Make sure you put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me and hear me well. Baby, I have notes. I have my notes. I hope you hear the ruffling of the papers because I have my notes on the reunion part 1 of Ready to Love, Philadelphia, okay? I don't want to say I told y'all so, but I told y'all so. I kept calling him Cam the scam. And I said, this rose has thorns. But Rose turned into rose. Okay. She turned into some straight liquor. This reunion. So we have a lot to talk about. Hello, crew. I see y'all coming in. And for those who don't really say anything, but listen, just come on in and actually chat with your girl today because we got a lot to talk about. So, yeah, let's get started. First things first, though, because when it comes to the reunions, we talk about usually what they have on, how they look. And I must say that they clearly don't have a budget. I'll just say that they don't have a budget. It was giving I need to actually go to like a rainbow to get a dress of some sort. It was not giving that anybody really had a budget for their outfits, and I have a feeling that was because production's budget is trash. But with that being said, yeah, Deanna D, your storm wig, it's a no for me. She looks absolutely beautiful in the short blonde. I just think she looks better with a short cut. This whole storm wig was not giving at all whatsoever. I was not impressed with anyone's outfit or hair. And I definitely was not impressed with this fool right here who sweats all the time, but you have the audacity to wear a freaking velvet freaking jacket, a freaking suit jacket with no shirt on. All I could do was smell funk, like straight up funk through the screen. For you to sweat so much, that is disgusting. That is disgusting. And you really think, now don't get me wrong, the man has a body, but I cannot stand when I see men with a freaking suit jacket on and literally with no shirt on. That's just like men wearing no socks to me. I just smell, it's just nasty. It's disgusting to me. And I don't know who told him this was cute, but it's not. I mean, the whole entire time he kept dabbing himself because he was sweating. Like, I can't even imagine what he smelled like when he took off that freaking jacket. Ugh. And then Rose is a hairstylist, and Rose's hair at the top did not blend with the hair at the bottom. Rose is a hairstylist. Now, one thing about Rose and Tay, I will say, like I told y'all, I feel like they was the best dressed throughout the season. Not for this actual reunion, but I'm a little confused how your hair wasn't on point and you're a hairstylist. I don't care what budget the actual production had. You got your own budget, and people who are usually hairstylists can turn miracles into just pennies. Like they can hook their hair up. I wasn't impressed. Although I don't know if she was trying to give us a retro vibe. I was given like Diana Ross feels kind of. So I was like, I don't know if she purposely did that to try to do a retro, but it wasn't hitting for me. All right. So with that being said, that's the only thing I really have to say as far as the outfits and looks. There was just certain people that kind of turned me off. No one from head to toe, though, was impressing me. However, Sahara, I couldn't even recognize her with her having that wig in her hair. I was like, who is that? I was like, oh, that's Sahara. Sahara looks totally different when she got the weave going down her back. She looks totally different. So, but with that being said, now that I've gone on through all of that, we gonna move on because we got to talk about Rose and Cam. So, but they start off with Angie. They start off with Angie, and we see pretty much them talking about the busting the windows out the car, child, busting the windows out the car. And I was like, are we still talking about this? But they show us a never seen like footage of Cam saying that, you know, he can't choose her because she isn't acknowledging or giving any type of accountability of self-improvement and her wanting to improve what she needs to work on. And I'm thinking like, Cam, the audacity of you, of all people. And he was like, and that's why I can't choose you. And Angie is like, I don't care what you say. I'm still saying, what did you do? That's the biggest question. What did you do to make me want to bust the windows out your car? So she's still laughing at it. So Sahara was like, yeah, I agree. What did you do? What did you do? Now, with that being said, Eddie, of course, is trying to get his last 5 minutes of fame. And he was like, I mean, I like that about her. You know what I'm saying? I like that about her. You know what I'm saying? Like, women are the breadwinners at this point. You know, he was trying to give his little Cisco vibe, like, I guess he want a woman to take care of him. So he was like, yeah, you know, I like that side of her. Now, what I found interesting is that Hussein was kind of like, yeah, it's over. It is what it is. Eddie saying the same thing. Cam is still kind of hesitant over the situation. But let me ask y'all something, crew. Y'all noticed that they had no problem giving Angie a pass in regards to the bust the windows thing. And she actually is the one who physically busted windows. But they did have an issue with Rose and the baby daddy situation. Take that in for a minute. Do y'all see some hypocrisy or some issues there that literally they're willing to pass over the whole Angie situation like it's no big deal? And she actually did that to someone's car and even laughed about it, saying it was actually a house window, not a car window, but she said just playing. But they have a big issue with Rose thinking that I guess she purposely hid the baby daddy situation. Find that interesting. But with that being said, I do not think Tay is pregnant. I think that is bloating possibly and maybe eating before she got in that dress. Because I definitely seen like there were certain times on the show where sometimes you would see her stomach kind of poke out a little bit and other times it wouldn't. You know, us women, that can be bloating, that can be eating, that can be anything. So I don't think she's pregnant. At least I hope not. But with that being said, so with that, you know, Cam was just like, I think it's over. I think it's fine. And Angie's like, yeah, I think it's fine too. Like, it is what it is. So in the process backstage, Rose is just staring Hussein down. Like, if looks could unalive somebody, baby, Hussein will be unalive. Make sure y'all hit the like button on the way in. Hit the like button. Please hit the like button. So he's like, why you mad? And she was like, because we were supposed to walk into this place as a couple. And I'm like, girl, like, he didn't want you. It's very obvious that he chose that situation as a reason to say it's the deal breaker. And the fact that you were still in some way mad at him when you really need to see it as a blessing in disguise is making me really wonder who dodged the bullet here. Did Rose dodge the bullet? Or did Hussein dodge the bullet? Because it was giving weird vibes. And so at that point, she's crying. She walks away because she's just so emotional. And Tay, of all people, which I like the fact that from the beginning, they've always kind of had that togetherness and seemed like there was no real competition towards each other. But Tay pretty much tells her, like, girl, take that as a sign. Like, they showed you who they were. And, you know, you got to pretty much let it be known, like, hey, it's your loss. And keep it pushing, keep it moving. You have seen how they are and keep it pushing. And, you know, she was like, you right. I love you, girl. And Tay's like, I love you too. And, you know, I'm thinking at that point, she going to get it together. But no, she didn't get it together. She came even more unhinged, even more unhinged. So then at that point, child, they end up having Hussein and Rose and Cam and Angie all on the stage together. And Rose ends up crying when they show the scene where Hussein was honest about him being in a group home at one point. And Rose said she was in a group home too. She just started bawling. So then, of course, the baby daddy situation came out. Okay. Yet again, of course. And so at that point, she said again, the baby daddy's in the back of my mind. That is not just something I randomly bring up because he's so in my past. That's not something I will automatically bring up. But at the same time, she said, which I said this on a review also. She said, if it was so much of a concern for you, this is like a speed dating situation. If it's so much of a concern for you, why didn't you ask me as a single mother what's going on with the baby daddy? Valid point. You know what I'm saying? Valid point. Valid point, because my thing is, that's why I said, did he ask her and she just dodged the whole question? And it doesn't seem like he really asked her. He made it seem like that's something she should have automatically brought up. But again, in all fairness, if she has not had a relationship with this man in years, and the last time she had some type of connection with him, it was painful, I don't know if that would be something that she would bring up if it is in the back of her mind. So yeah, definitely we will chat about that and see. And y'all let me know how y'all feel about it. But it just proves that neither one of them asked her about the baby daddy. They knew she was a single mother, but they didn't ask. So at the end of the day, Rose said, can we both take responsibility? One, you saying I didn't mention it, but two, you also didn't ask me. And to me, Hussein didn't want to take responsibility for that. He did not want to take responsibility. Say, well, I should have asked you more information about, the baby daddy or whatever. He made it seem like, at the end of the day, you should have just told me. But she said, and I'm sorry, she was just being a little dramatic for me on this, and maybe it's just me. She said, I feel he took away my happy ending. He stole my happy ending from me. And I'm like, girl, it wasn't a happy ending if this man pretty much left you over that situation. What do you mean he stole your happy ending? He wasn't the one for you. Like, he wasn't the one for you. It's not a happy ending if they revealed who they were. If anything, you should be saying, thank you, God, that I don't have to deal with these ninjas. So then at that point, child, it seems like the more Hussein talked, the more she become unhinged. Hussein finally talks and she speaks up and he says, I'm speaking. It was very passive aggressive, but he was pretty much saying, look, I'm talking. I let you talk, let me talk. And she starts laughing, but it's like this evil witch laugh, right? So then at that point, she says, Hussein, if it was such a big deal, how was it such a big deal that my baby daddy's incarcerated when you were incarcerated before? At that point, I said, well, we need to know, is this true, Hussein, or is it not true? Like, what's going on here? Well, at that point, Hussein is like, I don't know what she's talking about. I don't know what she's talking about because I don't know what's going on. So then at that point, she's like, oh, you don't know what's going on? So then he says, I sat up there and told her something in private about something that happened in college. He said, I was not booked. He was like, I did not spend any jail time or whatever the case may be. And she was like, yes, you did. You was locked up. So then at that point, he said, and this is the problem that men have with dealing with women when they actually confide in them and tell them something in private. They try to use it as a way, to slap it in their face later on. And to a certain extent, I do agree. Like, I'm that type of person. I've been that type of friend that even if we fall out, I'm not about to expose your business. Now, if you keep poking the bear 50 times over and I've been silent for years, that may be one thing. But when it comes to her, she lashed out and she just couldn't wait to sit up there and use that against him. That's a problem. So in my opinion, Rose, you showed your entire behind on this show. And this is the reason why I said from the beginning, Rose had another side to her that she didn't want people to see. She was keeping it in check. We saw a little bit of it with the whole surrogate situation, but baby, Rose has been showing her thorns, her straight up thorns. So that at that point, at the end of the day, Hussein, I think he happy. He happy. He like, you know what? You done showed me who you are. Now I'm gonna ask y'all this. Whose side are y'all on in this situation? You on Rose side or Hussein's side? Now, I ain't talking about the other drama we about to talk about, but I'm talking about this whole situation with Rose and Hussein. Do you feel both of them need to be held accountable? I say it's a fair situation. If you really want to know where the baby daddy is, then by all means ask me where the baby daddy is. Because one thing that she did say is, if I wanted to keep it a secret, I would have never brought it to your attention in the first place. I would have never said it on the show. And that's a valid point. If she was really trying to hide that the baby father was in prison, she would have never said it at that table. You know what I'm saying? She would have never said it at that table. So I don't know. I know everyone's going to have a difference of opinion in this situation. The problem is the way that Rose delivered herself in this reunion. I have a feeling a lot of people, even if she made valid points, a lot of people are going to sit up there and say Hussein for the win, because she showed her butt. It was just like, girl, calm down. Calm down, because you're making it seem like you're super desperate. And at the end of the day, they lost you. You didn't lose them. Like, it's their loss. So you should sit up there, like Tay said, hold your head up and be like, okay, you showed me who you were, but at the end of the day, this is your loss, honey. And you left with no one at that point. You know, and so they talked to Hussein about the whole Angie situation and leaving after the whole Rose, when Rose left, and he said he never really felt like he had that connection with Angie like he did with Rose. And, you know, he didn't want to sit up there and like waste her time. And Angie said she felt like it was a cop-out. Now, one thing about Rose said that Hussein, the relationship they had, he should have fought for their love. He should have fought for their love like Cam fought for Sahara. Child, Cam didn't. Girl, don't even do that comparison, because we see Cam as a fraud. But either way, she said Hussein should have fought for her. He didn't fight for you. So that should tell you, guess what? He ain't the one. Now, you look at Angie. Even Angie in this picture is looking at Rose like, baby girl, like, calm down. And this is Angie. This is Angie. Spicy Angie. And she even looking at her like, ooh, like you doing a little bit too much. Okay, so I see a couple people saying they are Team Hussein on this situation. Y'all let me know. Again, as long as people are respectful, I love to hear difference of opinions. Are y'all Team Rose on this, or are you Team Hussein? But with that being said, we gonna move on to True Child. And this was a waste of energy and time, because I was like, if we talk about this whole Google Doc number versus the regular number, her age, not her age, she's swearing up and down she's 35 years old. The reality is she did not want to give her age, because it seemed to me that Khalil was trying to find out women's ages because of childbearing age. Okay, to see like, look, I don't want kids that fast. So how old are you? And realistically, are you going to want to have kids after a certain amount of years? Can you blame him for that? No. But at the same time, do I feel like Khalil is very level-headed to where if he really wanted a certain woman and she was getting up there, I guess, in age, that maybe they could look into possibly freezing eggs and, you know, embryos and things like that. I think he would consider that, but he still wanted you to be upfront about your age. I don't think she's 35. I still don't think she's 35. Who lies about being 35 years old? You act like who lies about that? So honestly, this was a waste of a freaking segment. And yeah, I do think that freaking True is lies. She got some issues over there. And now all of a sudden she backtracking on every freaking thing, talking about something that was her number. And then saying that I did tell you my age. And it seemed to me that backstage, some of them was kind of hinting to the fact that she full of it also. So I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is I'm moving on because this was a pointless scene. Child Fritz. Child Fritz. Oh my gosh. So Fritz, in all of his arrogance, pretty much was like, look, yeah, this was all a game to me. Like, I came here to have fun or whatever the case may be. Now, interesting enough, though, before we get into Fritz, they have this game that they play saying, who said this? Child, why Kiara Kiki sat up there and said that Cam gives her Ninja Turtle vibes. Baby, I almost fell out. Let me just get a picture of Cam. When she said Cam give her Ninja Turtle vibes, and one of the producers said, who, like which Ninja Turtle? And this girl said Donatello. Baby, let me tell you something. Now, interesting enough to me, I don't think Cam gives Ninja Turtle vibes. I honestly think that Cam is an attractive guy and has a beautiful smile. But I'm very curious that if she thinks that Cam gives her Ninja Turtle vibes, baby, what does your own man Jay give you? Like, what does Jay give you? Because if, in my personal opinion, in my personal preference, if I had to choose between a Cam or a Jay looks wise, I'm going with Cam. So I find it interesting that she said he was giving Ninja Turtle vibes. Now, one thing about it is, now to me, he looks like a turtle because he's just a sneaky, slimy son of a bee. But at the same time, I was just like, girl, Ninja Turtle. Now, it was funny. It was funny, but I'm like, girl, if he's giving Ninja Turtle, what is Jay giving? What is Jay giving? But still cute, which is why I had to put the turtles in the background of my thumbnail to do the comparisons. But that was hilarious. But back to Fritz. The last thing when they played the Who Said game, they said, who said I am terrified and scared of Sahara? She gives me anxiety. And of course, it was Fritz. So then at that point, they start to see the behind the scenes of Fritz really downplaying Sahara in the vault and everything else. And he's just kind of denying everything. He says, first of all, he doesn't believe in polygamy. And he was like, he wasn't really trying to rally people up to get Sahara out. And Sahara almost want to throw something at him like, don't, we just saw it. We just saw it. And he's like, calm down, shorty, calm down. And I was like, ooh, to me, that's very passive aggressive. Don't, like, especially in that moment, don't tell somebody to calm down, shorty. That's like when you start stuff and then you try to tell someone they're overreacting. Like, it's that passive aggressive nonsense. So at the end of the day, even sweaty old crushed velvet suit wearing Cisco was like, man, you was acting like that, like stop playing or whatever. And he was like, look, I was just coming in here. I thought we were having a good time. And everybody in the back is like, good time. Like, what you think this is? Good time. We here looking for love. And so he was like, okay, yeah, whatever. But one thing about it, though, I have to give it to Jay. Jay said he loves love handles, stretch marks, and fupas, okay? He loves the fupas, the love handles, and the stretch marks. Honey, he about to have, if him and Kiki don't work out, he about to have a lot of women hitting him up in the DMs for him to be like, it's good for your soul that he love handles, stretch marks, and fupas. He pretty much saying he love a natural woman. So you already know, if this is all an act, Jay about to have 50,000 women in his DM if he ain't got it already, even though he missing a side tooth and all. But with that being said, child, another one, child, think about this. This is quite interesting. Another one of these games, and they thought it was Angie. Somebody said that they have slashed tires before, poked someone with a fork before, and they swore up and down it was Angie, but baby, it was Rocky. Y'all remember Rocky? She was the other very fair-skinned girl with the blonde hair in the beginning of this season. She was the one. And I said, Rocky and Angie, are y'all related? Because, baby, I said, isn't that ironic that the two lightest of the actual cast is the most spicy ones who ain't got no problem busting windows and slashing tires and poking people, boy, I tell you. But moving on. So then at that point, after they get on Fritz about the whole situation with Sahara and, you know, him playing games or whatever the case may be. At that point, they look at Cam and they said, well, Cam, you know, it seemed like you was really going hard for Sahara when it came to Fritz. And he said, yeah, because I stood up for Sahara because she was my connection. And then, baby, child, Shaunie's eyes. Look at them eyes. Look at them eyes. Shaunie got another side to her too, honey, because them eyes look like, don't mess with my man Fritz. And she said, oh, really? That's your real answer? Are you sure? Because you was literally asking me who I should pick. You was texting me, asking me who I should pick, and Sahara was not in your top. And you was trying to go on vacation with me and ask me if you could be my boy toy. And I said, oh, wow. So he hit up Shaunie asking who he should pick out of Angie and freaking Rose. Sahara wasn't even in the picture. And one thing that I like about Miss Sahara was looking at her like, tell me more. Tell me more, sis. Tell me more, auntie. Yeah, tell me what I need to know so I can even show even more that I dodged a bullet with this fool. So yeah, so when I tell you Sahara was listening to every single word and Shaunie kept going in, I mean, when I tell you she clocked that man's teeth every which way. She said, I don't like fake people. I don't like BS people. She was like, you fake, you phony, you a fraud, you all of those things. You talk about Fritz, but you worse than Fritz. Because Fritz could sit up there and talk about his while you sit up there and try to play something totally different, like you totally innocent. Didn't I tell y'all before that Cam likes to say what he feels people want him to say, what people want to hear versus what he truly feels? And we have proven in this episode that he pillow talks too much. He talked like a female. So, baby, when Shaunie went in, I said, oh, wow. Oh, wow. And they was looking at him like, Cam. Like, they was so shocked because they just could not see that Cam was this person. Oh, baby, we saw it. We saw it. I'm going to speak for myself. I saw it. Make sure y'all hit the like button. I think we have about 20 people right now on this live, and I only see right now 7 likes. Please hit the like button for your girl so I can get into the algorithm. So we find out, child, that Fritz and Shaunie are a thing. He said, that is my woman. Now, do y'all believe it, though? Do y'all believe it? I don't know if I believe it. I don't know. I don't know if I believe it. But again, if they are, congrats to them. But I feel like they're playing a game also. They're playing a game. Now, at the end of the day, yeah. What do y'all think about Shaunie and Fritz? Do y'all think they look like a cute couple? I don't know. It's given. Let me shut up. Nope, won't shut up. It's giving auntie nephew vibes. That's what it's giving. It's giving auntie and nephew vibes. Am I wrong to say that? Well, that's the way I feel. I'm sorry. Can y'all hear me? Make sure y'all can hear me because, again, apparently there's some bad connections going on today. So please put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. But yeah, it's not given that they're compatible. I don't know. A little weird. But again, wherever you can find true love is wherever you can find true love. Now, the reality is, was Fritz coming on here really looking for love? I don't know. And I don't know if I would want a guy who was saying, look, I thought we were here to have fun. Like, I don't know what he would want out of this. Maybe he's also doing this for his last little 5 minutes of fame. But with that being said, baby, during the break, Sahara, of course, confronted Cam and was like, so what's Shaunie talking about? You need to let me know. Like, what's Shaunie talking about? And so he was like, look, at the end of the day, when I contacted her and I texted her, I was telling her, I was looking between two of, the girls, because at that point I wasn't considering you. But then when we went on that boat date, that's when I knew at that point that, that you were a strong contender and I really wanted to have a relationship with you. Cam, you are so full of it, because if that's the case, why did you string her on for so long? Why did you string her on for so long? You literally had just had a meeting with all three of them. And then you reach out to Shaunie about just two of them. Like, this is what we're talking about. You're a scam. You're a straight scam. You just want to literally tell women and people what they want to hear. I wonder if Cam is a Libra man. He's giving me Libra man vibes, just lying for no reason. But with that, he said, look, and I did sit up there and say I could be your boy toy going to Spain, but it was a joke. And he was like, and she was sitting up there texting me, trying to F me. And Sahara's like, oh, well, can I see those text messages? Yeah, I need to see all of those text messages. Show me the text messages. But before he could actually bring out these so-called text messages that I feel like don't even exist, but Angie comes and shows that she's more than spicy, that she also can become unhinged. She said, let me tell you something, Cam. You keep my effing name out your effing mouth. And I was like, whoa. And so I was like, wait, what happened? What's going on? What happened? And she was like, I'm not playing with you, Cam. I'm not playing with you. The way she was holding that dress, you thought she was holding like some baggy pants, like she was ready to go for action. She was like, I'm not playing with you. And so I was like, wait, come, tell me what's going on. And Angie like, no, I can't, I got to get up out of here. Like, she pretty much was like, because if I don't get up out of here, something about to happen. So then at that point, all I hear is Sahara saying to Angie backstage, it must be Rose. It must be Rose. And I said, see, one thing about it, Sahara may be a round the way girl. Sahara may get rough around the edges, but Sahara seems to be the most stable female and the most like sane female that we had on this show. And she may not say a lot, but she see a lot. So she immediately knew that Rose was sitting up there telling Angie something. So we find out that Rose told Angie that apparently that Cam was talking to Rose about how the reason why her and her ex broke up and how she was being aggressive with that ex was because of, I guess, the ex apparently cheating on her or whatever the case may be. Pretty much she didn't like the fact that Cam was talking about her personal business to someone else. Now, interesting enough, Sahara said, well, do you want to tell him what you heard so he can at least lie or find out? And I was like, not lie, Sahara. I'm like, yeah, she that was the perfect thing for her to say, because she know he a liar. She know he's a liar. She's like, well, at least let him lie and find out what's going on. But at the end of the day, I think the reason why Angie got so upset is because how would Rose know that information? Like, unless this happened in front of production, how would Rose be able to give her that type of specifics unless Angie did speak to Cam about it? You see what I'm saying? So it's like at the end of the day, it's like, so she probably got upset because she did speak to Cam about that, and Cam was running his mouth like a freaking female. It's amazing to me how men are quick to say that women gossip so much. I feel like men gossip more than freaking women. So with that, she confronts him and he's denying everything. In other words, to me, he's lying, saying that that's not true or whatever. And he was like, can I get a hug? Because you act like you wanted to punch me out. Cam, you're not to be trusted. You're not to be trusted. Like, no one trusts you. So then we get into the throuple of Sahara, Cam, with these three women, Rose and Angie and Sahara. So at that point, they talk about the whole Sahara and Cam and why they didn't end up together. And Sahara said, look, at the end of the day, I said what I said. We agreed that we were going to try to hopefully work on things after the show. but it was not consistent. It was the same thing. It was short messages or whatever the case may be. He was not giving me what I wanted to hear. Therefore, I blocked him. And he was like, well, how was you going to let me be able to show you and you blocked me or whatever? And so Tommy like, you blocked him. So everybody's sitting up there like, girl, like, don't block him, like unblock him, at least try to give him a chance. Sahara already knows the type of man Cam is. She already knows, she can feel it, she can sense it. That's why she's like, I ain't got time for this nonsense. So at that point, when Sahara agrees to unblock him, the Black Widow, Rose with the thorns herself, honey, she says, Sahara, baby, be careful. Just be careful. And so Tommy said, Rose, what's that all about? And she said, well, look, let me tell you something. Just like Fritz, Cam is into polygamy also. And, he does have an issue with cheating in his past. And so at this point, he wants to potentially be able to bring another woman into the bedroom. And so Cam's like, that's not true. I have had issues with cheating in the past. But my thing is, if I'm going to cheat, I don't want to do it behind your back. I'm going to tell you straight up, and you either agree to it or you don't. And I'm thinking like, okay, Cam, so then if they don't agree to it, what are you saying? That at least I told you up front and I'm going to cheat anyways? What are you saying, sir? What are you saying? It's almost like you were trying to imply I'm giving you a chance to tell you I'm going to cheat. So you either going to bring her into the bedroom with us or I'm going to cheat, and at least I told you. That's what it was given to me, that no, okay, well, if you don't agree with it, I'm not going to cheat at all. So then at that point, she said she spent time. She spent time with Cam after the show. And then she ended up seeing empty condom wrappers. Okay? And empty wrappers in the house. But she said she knew they weren't hers, but they did use protection. So how you know they weren't yours? Was it a different brand? Or what was it? Help me understand. Was it a different brand? So at that point, everybody like in the back and in the front is like, what the heck is going on? She is sitting up there blowing up the spot. So then at that point, she says, so what I want to know, Cam, is that are you expecting or not? Now, if I'm going to be honest with y'all, in that moment, I kind of did the, girl, what the heck are you talking about? Because it was really given, I am going to make sure I get my last 5 minutes of fame. And I also am going to make sure that because I did not get what I wanted in the end, I am about to piss on everyone's parade. That's what it was given. It's like, because I am unhappy, I'm going to make sure that everyone else is going to be unhappy. I'm miserable, so I need company. That's what it was giving. So at that point, people was like, oh my gosh, expecting. And Shanice was like, I think she's talking about a child. And I was like, okay. I thought that too, Nikki B, because I was like, is she trying to say that she's pregnant by him? Because I'm thinking like, you claim that y'all use protection. Now, it'd be one thing if she said the reason why I saw those empty wrappers, and I know they weren't mine because we didn't use protection, but I don't think she want to say that because then that would just show how nasty she is. But Rose, you're giving desperate. And it's like, it was almost like, okay, I'm going to get one of these men. I'm going to get one of them. And honestly, I wouldn't even know if her and Hussein, maybe her and Hussein got some freaky tales going on and we weren't aware of it. But it's given that she was going to try to do anything she could to get one of these men and try to destroy people in the process. I was just like, girl. But I told y'all, for those who've been listening to my reviews for a while, I told y'all she got another side to her, and you were seeing that representative, and now her thorns have come out completely. I knew something was wrong about her with that whole surrogate situation. She was like, I ain't letting nobody carry my baby. Like the way that she flipped out like that, I was like, oh, there's another side to her. And more, but it's given that because I can't get what I want, I'm not gonna walk away out of this situation peaceful with my head held high. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna make sure I take everyone down with me. But it's given bitter. It's giving bitter. It's giving unhinged. That's what it's giving. It did not give anything that you thought it was going to give. And maybe if this is an acting role for you, you're giving exactly what you wanted to give. But baby, it was cringy. It was cringy. It was ooh-wee, like you're making yourself look bad and like ooh-wee, I hope your son doesn't see this and people don't come to you or go to your son about you, because it's giving like calm down. Calm down. And the fact that she said that they screwed her over, they took away her happy ending. Your happy ending wasn't in these men. Otherwise, they would have selected you. And I don't know where she's not understanding that at all whatsoever. It's weird. It's weird. What are you guys saying in the chat? See, I'm not fighting any. I don't know what you guys talking about. Well, I'm missing a lot in the chat. I'm missing a lot. Hussein looks like Starvin Marvel early days of South Park. So Rose was crying over Hussein at the beginning, rubbing his back to blasting himself, announcing she's here. Yeah, she went all over the place. And she even said that she was all over the place with her emotions. I said, girl, you should have kept that to yourself. You should have kept that to yourself. She was giving fatal attraction. She was giving snap. She was giving all of that. I was just like, girl, at this moment. But honestly, without Rose in this reunion part 1, would it have been as entertaining? Probably not. Even though she looked like the bitter woman, she is the one who brought a lot of the drama. You said this season is trash. Apparently, y'all, the ones who've been watching Ready to Love from the beginning say this definitely is not anywhere close to one of the best seasons. So we'll definitely have to see what it's bringing. We will definitely have to see what it's bringing for the next. Well, I think you guys said that they do Philly the whole entire time, if I'm not mistaken. Is that what you guys said, that they do Philly a couple of more seasons? How many seasons are they going to do Philly? Because you guys said they do at least a couple of seasons in each city, right? So it'll be quite interesting what the next Philly season is going to look like. But honestly, I'm ready for another city. It would be quite interesting if they do LA. I would love to see them do LA when it comes to Black love. I would love to. Philly looks like it's covered. Not Philly looks like it's covered in dust, Nikki B. Not covered in dust. But yeah, okay, so all of you guys are saying Rose was a disappointment and Cam is a clown. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, they showed their butts. For real. These folks were a bad example of Philly. Yeah, I mean, I would be curious. Any crew who's from Philadelphia, by all means, let me know. Do you feel like they represented Philly well? I would be curious to know if all of them are actually from Philly. Because at the end of the day, some people may say they're not even from Philly. Some people may say they're from the burbs and they don't consider them true Philly, or they're from Maryland or something, y'all, or Jersey. Y'all got to let me know, for Philly people, how they feel about this season. Their budget can't afford LA. You may have a point. Maybe Chicago. I would like to see a Chicago possibly. That would be pretty dope. Or Detroit, a Chicago or Detroit. She was given, I took a femininity class before the season and I am stunned. I was not seen as the gentle soul I was pretending to be. You dang on right. That's why I said she had another side to her. And that's why all of that arrogance, when she was telling Sahara and Angie, I actually listened to my partner and study my partner, pretty much trying to make it seem like she knew, you know what I'm saying, Cam and Hussein so well, and then how both of them ended up playing her in the end and she couldn't take it, and she ended up acting a straight up fool more than Angie and Sahara combined. Quite interesting. Because see, they wanted to assume that Sahara was the one who was going to really act the fool. And I'm sure Sahara has it in her, but Sahara, she stood 10 toes down and stayed true to who she was from beginning to end. And you can't do nothing but respect that. And honestly, straight up, I would love to see her and her sister do something together. I would probably laugh and cackle just seeing her and her sister chilling in Philly. Like, because they seem like they are a straight kiki. Oh, they are going to Chicago next. Okay, Blue. I would love to see that one. I would love to see that one. Not Chicago will ruin your life. Nikki, are you from Chicago? Are you from Nikki, are you from Chicago? I would love to see a Chicago one. I think the 6-month hiatus did away with another Philly season. You know, Denver. I don't know if I want to see Denver. Yeah, that 6-month hiatus, I think threw them off. I think it threw their momentum off. I don't know who decided to do that. I don't know if that was a network thing or a production thing, but I don't think it helped them. I really don't think it helped them at all whatsoever. But we have a part 2 reunion. Something tells me, y'all, it's not going to be good. Because honestly, the main things that we needed to talk about was in this actual episode. So the only thing else they could really talk about is if Jay and Kiki are still together and if Cisco and Tay are still together. But I don't really know if that's going to give all the bells and whistles. So what else can they really talk about? And I'm over Tommy too being the host. And this is my first season, but y'all let me know who's been watching this from the beginning. Are y'all tired of Tommy being the host? Because I feel like I need to see a female host, or at least have Tommy have a female co-host. I would like to see a female co-host or just someone different. I would. Okay, on the South Side, I got you, girl. I got you. So I would definitely like to see, but I would like to see a Chicago one. I would like to see a Chicago one. They got some good Chicago brothers out there, but I would love to see how grimy and crazy it gets. Apparently, the Buff Brokey is dissing the audience on podcasts. Really? Well, you want to know what I heard? And I don't know if he wants me to tell who I heard it from, but word on the street is that Buff Brokey with the crushed velvet jacket on, allegedly, apparently, Cisco is married, allegedly. Now, I don't know if he's still married to the one that he claimed he got divorced from, or he was always married while he was on this show, but allegedly, apparently, he's married. We'll have to see, honey. We will definitely have to see. Tommy and his struggle of narrative can go. Okay, so y'all saying Tommy can go, always take up for the men. Okay, so then y'all giving the same vibes. This is my first season, and I already feel like he needs to go. Velveteen. I'm going to say crushed velvet. What is that, velvet? Do y'all know what movie what is that, velvet? They don't call us Chirac for a reason. Yeah, but I do feel like Chicago still has eligible Black men. They got eligible Black men out there. It's a lot of educated Black men, successful Black men, and not even necessarily educated as far as degrees are concerned. But I didn't realize how many Black men are like firemen, police officers, like, working blue collar professionals in Chicago too. So it definitely, Chicago may be interesting. I would like to see a Chicago before I see a Detroit, if I can be honest. I would like to see a Chicago more than I would like to see a Detroit. I would prefer Chicago first. Cisco was a bum, but he looked good in the jacket with the high top. No, he did not. He looked funky, Nikki B. Who wears a freaking suit jacket? That is so tacky to me. A suit jacket with no freaking shirt on. It was given the ghetto Rico Suave. Ugh, and the way that he sweats, he was funky. He was sweating up under that thing. Oh my gosh. He gives strong user energy. I'm telling y'all knew. Coming to America, you better say it. Hopefully not leaving in fisheries or shelters. Look, at this point, I feel like in the mix of all of these people, there are people genuinely possibly looking for love. And then you have people who are freaking acting at this point. So who knows? Who knows at this point who is really on here looking for love or who was on here looking for a moment, hoping that it would get them into like, I don't know, the big leagues, maybe SAG and actually doing acting. Look, let me tell y'all something, being from LA. How many reality show stars or people who've been on reality shows, how many of them do you actually see become big actors? Y'all don't see that, right? You know why? Because it just won't happen. I don't know why people think reality shows is a gateway to get into acting. It's not. You're like, I feel like it's almost like a curse on your career if you go the reality show way. Don't do reality show. Just continue to audition. Like, why are people thinking that? Like, what manager do you have that would actually tell you, go on this reality show and hopefully, you know, your face will be seen? I don't know if they feel like it gives them more like more publicity, so that means they get their numbers up on social media, because I do hear that sometimes social media influence, like how many followers you have, could potentially make or break if you get a role or not, because they will want someone who has numbers and a good following. But I still don't see it for, I'm sorry, I just don't see reality show stars, whether they're famous or not, becoming big actors and actresses. Like, it just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. So whoever's telling y'all this, it's an epic fail. It's an epic fail. So with that, I think Jay and Kiara can actually work out together. I think they can too. Eddie must have been raised by his granny and mama, because he can flatter to keep things chill. Yeah, but apparently he got his own company, does he not? But he could have been lying too. That man is just too fine to be trusted. I'm sorry. Eddie fine, y'all. Y'all know he fine. Them eyes, his smile, that is a fine specimen of a man, which means he can't be trusted. But honestly, the fact, did you see the way he came on the show? He was like, he had on like a flannel jacket. I was like, where are you going? Did you just come from work or something? You didn't even attempt to put on something nice. Something ain't right with Eddie either. But with that being said, y'all, we could talk about these people all day long. We really could. This is just part one. Part two, I'm probably going to do the same time next week. Probably, maybe earlier, maybe later. I don't know. I got to check and see. But just know part two next Saturday, hopefully around the same time, we'll get into it. But I have a feeling it's just not going to be as good. They did all of the spicy stuff. For this part, just for it to be a whatever for the next one. But with that being said, what a Eddie is a halal dusty nutter. Haitian Empress. Yes, Eddie is fine. Why does Cisco look confused? I would be happy for them to create a solid blended family. Are you talking about Jay and Kiki? Yeah, Jay and Kiki, I think, could work out. And honey, he loved the love handles and the fupa and the stretch marks. So he like them thick. He like them thick. So at the end of the day, honey, I wish them well. I think they're probably the only ones who may actually be legitimate on the show. So I wish them well. But guess what? Even the ones like Trifling Cam and Unhinged Rose and Angie, I wish them all well. I definitely wish Sahara well. Sahara is a key. Sahara is hilarious. Baby, she gave us a lot of one-liners this season. I heard you like the poly. I heard you like the polyesters, the fabrics of your life. Baby, she had the one-liners. Sahara stayed true from the beginning to end. You can't do nothing but respect it. I loved her. So, yes, because he can't act during all of his free time, did he take acting classes because his face will not carry him through? A lot of people think that, but honestly, it could happen. I mean, he can get to them Tyler Perry movies and TV shows. He could. Like, Cisco would be perfect for the Tyler Perry stuff. I ain't gonna even hold you. I mean, it is what it is. So with that being said, thank y'all for listening to my review. Y'all got to let me know what y'all felt about this review. What did y'all feel about Rose? What did you feel about Cam, what did you feel about all of them? Definitely chime in the comments again. I would like to know your opinions on it. Again, I don't have no dog in this fight. I can see all sides, and well, I can't see Cam's side at all, but I can see all sides when it comes to Rose situation. I just don't like the fact that she showed how bitter and unhinged she could be. But did she make some valid points? I think she did. I think she did make some valid points. But Hussein made some valid points too. He really did. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this. But with that being said, please like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button before you leave for your girl. And I will see you on my next video. Toodles.